Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're talking about the shocking news that occurred last night. Andrew Luck of the Indianapolis Colts has retired from the NFL at the age of 29. We're going to talk about the implications in terms of fantasy football. Now that one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League will not be under center for the Colts, what exactly happens? Who is his backup? And how do the pieces around Andrew Luck, whether it be Marlon Mack, T.Y. Hilton, Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle, and the plethora of receivers that they have there, how are they potentially affected in 2019? So we're going to talk about that today. Now, before we begin, I want to thank all of you. Holy moly. In a matter of a week, we literally have gained over 1,000 subscribers. We just surpassed the 6,000 subscriber mark. So thank you so much, everyone who have come by and supported the channel thus far. Much appreciated, much love. If you haven't yet already, click that subscribe button because we're bringing you fantasy football content throughout the entire 2019 season. Click that notification bell button in order to get a notification exactly when my latest content is out. Again, thank you very much for everyone for the support. Also, speaking of support, for those of you who have already gone to my Patreon page, bought the draft kit via PayPal, much appreciated. There is still time for those of you who are interested in playing in a league with me via Patreon. I'm taking people to play in a league with me in Patreon leagues until the 30th. So that'll be the cutoff date. So if you guys are still interested in playing a league with me, we can go ahead and do that. But today we're talking about Andrew Luck. Holy moly. I'm sitting there. I'm not even home last night. And I get the notification from my sleeper app. And I'm sitting there like, what the heck just happened? And then I think to myself, there's no way that this is actually happening. But then again, I sat there and I was like, you know what? I kind of knew something like this was coming, because when we go back to 2017, the entire offseason for the Colts was Andrew Luck's going to be ready. He's going to be ready. Oh no, he'll be ready week 1. Okay, no. Okay, it's week 1. He'll be ready week 2. And I felt there was an identical mischievousness from the Colts organization. Again, they didn't want to give us much transparency on his injury issue, but again, similar to 2017, his injury is not going away, and it's plagued him. He's not going to miss the entire season. Instead, he's just going to retire. Extremely unfortunate for those of us who are big fans of Andrew Luck, and for those of you guys who are Indianapolis Colts fans. I do not approve in booing. I do not condone the booing that I saw last night. I saw a highlight of fans booing him, burning his jersey. That's embarrassing, guys. It's embarrassing. But overall, much respect to the guy. A lot of conviction to go out, on your own terms instead of being forced out by a doctor. So much respect to him, and best of luck for his future, because I know he's a smart guy. The guy, during his rookie OTAs, he missed mini training camp to go finish his, I think, architecture degree from Stanford. So he's a smart guy. He's going to get it done. Whether he's talking on Monday Night Football as an analyst like Tony Romo, or whether he's just living life in Indianapolis and enjoying it, we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, let's talk about the fantasy aspect of this, okay? So obviously, Andrew Luck, consensusly was the number 2 overall quarterback until the last couple of weeks, in which we saw a little bit of a downward spiral due to his injury, right? We didn't see him participate in any of the practices or in any of the preseason games, so the concerns were there. So he started to slide down boards to like the number 6 quarterback spot. So obviously there was a little bit of concern. Maybe he'd miss a week, but all in all, he'd still be in there, and he'd be a quarterback that we could all rely upon throughout the 2019 season. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case anymore. And how does that specifically hurt the players that are in that Colts offense? Now, Jacoby Brissett going into this offense, we've seen Jacoby Brissett play in the National Football League. A guy that, interestingly enough, in his career, the last preseason game of the 2016 season, he was the backup quarterback for the New England Patriots. He beat the Colts so badly that they traded for him, and then he ended up being kind of the replacement for for Andrew Luck there in 2017. So interesting stuff how that works. But what we've seen from Jacoby Brissett in that 2017 season, I think he went 4-11 as a starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. Nothing was great, but to be honest, that was really his rookie season. I mean, a 58% passing completion percentage, 13 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Those kind of things can be improved upon. And obviously, the Colts offense wasn't as good as it is now in 2017 because of how many weapons they've surrounded Andrew Luck or wanted to surround Andrew Luck with. I mean, the amount of talent that they have. Up front as their offensive line, they give up the least amount of sacks amongst the NFL last season. This offensive line is a bunch of studs, okay? The wide receiver position, besides having the all-pro T.Y. Hilton on the outside, you bring in Devin Funchess, you draft Paris Campbell, you still have Chester Rogers, Zach Pascal. Then you already have Eric Ebron, who was absolutely incredible last year with double-digit scoring touchdowns and really revitalizing his career after he got away from that Detroit Lions offense. You still have Jack Doyle. So is this offense going to run differently? You still have Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines, no big deal. Is the offense going to change? Absolutely not. In terms of production, yes, but in terms of scheme, double tight ends, putting Ebron in the slot position, using Nyheim Hines on third down, deep ball action with T.Y. Hilton, that's not going to change. The scheme is going to be identical. Obviously, they'll run plays that are more comfortable with Jacoby Brissett comparatively to an Andrew Luck, but all in all, the scheme's going to stay the same. Now, is the offensive production going to be equal or even close? I don't think so. And that's where we find our biggest issue. The guys that are going to struggle the most, in my opinion, are the receiving options of this team. T.Y. Hilton, in the season of 2017 with Jacoby Brissett, I think he had like 960 receiving yards. I think he had 108 targets for like 58 receptions. Had a poor season overall. And I think a lot of that had to do with Brissett's play, but that had to do with his inexperience. Now, is T.Y. Hilton going from like the number 12 wide receiver to the number 30? No. He's not taking a giant dip, but he's definitely moving down draft boards accordingly because you cannot anticipate even close to the production. Like I personally thought that T.Y. Hilton could replicate his 2016 stats. And what exactly does that mean? Like 6 touchdowns, 1,400 receiving yards, and 90 receptions. That's what I personally thought T.Y. Hilton was going to produce this year with Andrew Luck under center because that's where they were trending towards last year. If you look at the averages of T.Y. Hilton and you add a couple games because of the time he missed 2 games due to that hamstring injury last year. If you had just via averages added it on top, the guy was just as good last year than he was in 2016, and we were going to see that team improve because of how many weapons they added to this offense in order to help free up T.Y. Hilton from that double coverage that he always sees. So, to be honest, T.Y. Hilton should have been better. This coming season, he's going to have to dip. If you've already drafted, it is what it is. You have to deal with it. You got to roll with the punches. But I don't see this offense producing as much, not even close. And what exactly does that mean? Because of the fact that Andrew Luck and this offense moved the ball so well, people were given a boatload of touchdowns. I mean, Andrew Luck threw, 39 touchdowns. Eric Ebron had 13. Marlon Mack had 10 total in 12 games. That kind of production, getting in the red zone as often as they did, is not going to be something that is a common occurrence within this offense. Sure, they can be successful, but in a division where they have to play Jacksonville's defense, Tennessee's defense, and the Houston defense, it's going to be tough for them. And I don't think the fantasy production is going to be as guaranteed as it was prior to this news. It's unfortunate. I think Marlon Mack on the ground is going to have his steady production. I think the biggest issue for Marlon Mack going forward is his red zone work. Again, 10 touchdowns in 12 games. If we can't see that similarly occurring, because of the fact that Marlon Mack is not heavily used in the passing game, I think in the 12 games that he played, he had like 20 receptions. That's where he's going to sit at around. He's not going to get anything more than that. With Nyheim Hines in this offense, it's pretty much there's no passing production for Marlon Mack's potential. If he loses the red zone opportunity, this guy's going to just go down draft boards. And I think that's probably likely what's going to happen, unfortunately, because if, in fact, you're scoring in an offense where Andrew Luck is consistently getting you down to the red zone and giving you opportunities to run the ball, it only helps. Now that you put Jacoby Brissett under center, what are defenses going to do? Opposing defenses want Jacoby Brissett to throw the ball. They're going to stack the box. They're going to make it tough for this offensive line. Brissett with blitz packages, pressure, And they're going to stack and make sure that they can't establish a running game. Because if you can't establish a running game, you're forced to throw the ball. There's more likelihood of Jacoby Brissett making a mistake than not. And maybe, inaccurate passes here and there. There's always a potential for that. And I think that's going to hurt the Colts going into 2019 overall. So Marlon Mack, that's going to be tough, especially if he loses red zone opportunity. T.Y. Hilton, never been a red zone guy, but he's always been about, deep plays, deep passing plays, deep touchdowns. The guy, I think in the last couple of seasons, what was the stat? I got to find the stat. Comparatively to all wide receivers, the guy is, I'm going to find the stat actually right now. Give me a second here. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to look at this. Where's T.Y. Hilton on this thing? All right, here we go. Let's F3 this function. All righty, let's go find T.Y. Hilton, shall we? Okay, so looking at T.Y. Hilton last season, okay, it's pretty ridiculous. He had 22 receptions of 20 or plus yards. He was tied for number 5 last season. He had 6 receptions of 40 plus yards, which tied him for number 2 in the league last year. He had 5 games of over 100 receiving yards, which tied him for number 6 last year. And his yards per reception average was 16.7, which ranked 11 last year, with a 20 reception minimum amongst all wide receivers. The guy has been really good in the passing game. You have to throw it over the top of opposing defenses in order to give T.Y. Hilton value. And I don't know if Jacoby Brissett has the arm or the accuracy to do so. He didn't show much last season. In the preseason thus far, nothing too exciting, but all I've seen is that he's a capable quarterback. He's not going to kill this team's value, but he's definitely not going to make it as good as it was. Those are my thoughts. Overall, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to scale where this team goes. I think everybody, in terms of value and ADP, they have to drop. They really do, because Andrew Luck was such an elite talent and such a great fantasy prospect that he just made everybody around him better. And this was probably the most talented Colts offense that I've seen. Colts team in general. The defense looks great. What Darius Leonard was able to do as a rookie last year, coming into this offense, this entire team has looked so good. They were probably one of my favorites in the AFC. But due to this, this injury news or, the retirement news, it goes the other way. And I think the Houston Texans, even though they lost Lamar Miller to an ACL injury, they probably are going to rule this division for quite some time now, going into the future. But again, Marlon Mack's going to be hurt, or he's going to hurt value wise. So is Ty, so is Ebron, probably so is Jack Doyle. But they'll get their targets, they'll get their receptions, they'll get their attempts. It just depends if they can get in the red zone, and that's the trickiest thing. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully we can get some better news going into the future. I hate this kind of stuff. This sucks, especially for me. I had a team literally yesterday that had Lamar Miller and Andrew Luck both gone now. I had to go pick up Case Keenum because he's been called the starting running back starting quarterback of the Redskins. It's a super flex league. And then I had to go pick up a backup for Lamar Miller. I don't even know who the hell they're going to run. Duke Johnson's back there. They have Howell, the inexperienced rookie over there. But what do they got? They got to sign somebody. There are so many running backs in the NFL. I know I'm going off on a tangent for the Texans, but we have to. There are so many running backs in the NFL. Somebody sign Jay Ajayi. Or go get one of those Eagles running backs. Go trade for Jordan Howard. They don't need Jordan Howard anymore. Go trade for him. Maybe Melvin Gordon wants to be traded. Get Zeke. He's just a couple hours away. Ship his ass over to the Texans. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Until next time, much appreciated on the support. Like this video. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think on the Colts offense. How is it going to turn out in 2019? Man, we're just around the corner. The season's about to start, so this is some pretty interesting news. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys. Peace.